of genius take the wheel, but it's more like genius eat the meal. I don't feel like rushing into the car and rushing home. I had one of the very best days I've had trainings, and I've had a lot of good days lately. Possibly because, well, I'll get into the factors of why I think I've been having better, why I've been having better times in the gym. I'll get into that in a bit as I go through the autopsy from today's training. But I guess it's kind of like the first of its kind, genius eat the meal. So it's still genius take the wheel, but I'm not behind the wheel yet. I'm waiting for my meal to come through. So we're at Shake Shack, and we got a Carolina barbecue chicken sandwich, a strawberry shake, and a small mango lemonade. So that's what we're rocking with today. High fat content, high protein, um, high sugar. Um, and I know that I need my glycogen stores repaired because my hand started cramping before I left the gym. So I was like, oh, my body's not very happy post training. So I'm going to tell you about what I did in the gym today. Yes, another 5 hour training day, but I was just having too much fun. So why leave if I don't have any real responsibilities on a Sunday? Hey, and the food is here. Thank you, sir. So this is what we're rocking with today. Obviously, this is the month where we celebrate people's private lives in the bedrooms instead of just leaving them in the bedroom. Um, I don't know, man. Like I've kind of gotten past the annoyance, and I just wait for July 1st when all of the fake support and allyship, the fake corporate support and allyship goes right out the fucking window because it became July 1st. But everything's got to be branded, and there are rainbows everywhere, and I don't know. I'm just over getting upset about those things. Um, just don't care anymore, and I think that most people really don't care anymore. And I think give it 3 or 4 more years, and you'll stop seeing the phony ass branding campaign about people's personal private lives. Anyway, so yeah, we're rocking the bacon and I don't know some spicy cheese and some fried pickles on the sandwich. Probably somewhere between 700 and 800 calories, and the shake is probably somewhere around the 700 to 800 calories, and the juice is probably about 200 to 300 calories. So I burned over 2,000 calories, or at least that's what my Apple Watch says, anyways. So anyway, let's get to the autopsy of today's training. Um, I was adding a rep to my squat today, so it's it's a PR of sorts. Last 2 weeks, I did 2 sets of 6 at 255. Today, the assignment was 2 sets of 7 at 255 and 2 sets of 7 at 225. It was ridiculously easy, but I'm not going to change the program. My body is responding very well, so I'm not going to shoot up to 275 to prove anything. I'm just going to go through my progressions as I've currently um, calculated them. And next week I'll probably do the same 2 sets of 7, and a week after do 2 sets of 8. So That was ridiculously easy. I moved up to 455 on my post squat um, leg press, 3 sets of 6. That was ridiculously easy. Um, I did the um, I did the RDL bar, which is 45 pounds, 135, 225, and then 4 sets of 9 at 335 on the deadlift. I took my sweet time with that, but I felt pretty confident about what I was doing. I think my body is ready to go to 4 sets of 10. So I think I'm going to try 4 sets of 10 next week. And if I'm successful, I'm going to go up to 365 for 3 or 4 sets of 6. So the deadlift is moving up. I'm feeling good about that. Um, I'm going to see how my body responds to the deadlift. Um, I did my leg extensions, I did my leg curls, 3 sets of 11 each, 190 on the leg extension, 180 on the leg curl. That was pretty easy. Not easy like it was difficult, but I was able to get through them with quality reps. I think I'm gonna do the same thing on Wednesday. And if it feels a little bit easier, I'll go to set to 12 before I move up and weight again. When I was done with that, I moved to the incline chest. I'm sticking with 2 sets of 6 at 220 pounds on the Smith machine incline. So I worked my way up from the bar, which is 20 pounds. I did 10 reps with the bar. I did 8 reps at 70. I did 5 reps at 110. Instead of warming up at 160, I warmed up at 180 for 5 to be a little bit closer to the top weight. And that actually worked out pretty well. So, 2 sets of 6 clean at 220. I didn't expect it to be very good, but actually ended up being pretty good. The mechanics were flawless. I moved down to 200 pounds for 2 more sets of 6. Flawless. Resident Evil is here. How you doing? I wanted to try to stream before the whole pump went away. Um, then I went down to 180 and 2 sets of 6, flawless again. Um, so I moved to the dumbbells, and I have like a system of what is I want to go to failure up until a certain amount. So I- I've been hitting failure before 10 reps on my dumbbell incline press. So what I've done is I've said, when I hit 10 reps, I'm going to stop and then see if I can hit 10 reps and then possibly move up in weight the next time and then run the whole program again. I did not expect to hit 2 sets of 10 with the 80s on the incline, but it happened. And I then hit 2 sets of 10 with the 70s on the incline. So my next incline day, when I move to dumbbells, I'm going to attempt to do 2 sets of 6 with the 85s and then follow it up with 2 sets of 6 with the 75. That's what's going to be next. That went really, really well. And then when I hit um, the ISO super incline, um, when I've been rocking with 132 pounds to failure, but today I was able to get 15 reps on set 1. So I was like, you know what? On this particular exercise, I'm going to cap it at 15 reps. And if I get 3 sets of 15, I'll move up and weight. But I got 15 reps at 132 pounds total. Um, and then I got 14 reps on set 2. And then that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Uh, yeah, yeah, you're good. Um, and then I got 12 reps or 13. It was 12 or 13 on the third set. Um, so here's the deal, right? I'm not really quite sure um, how I feel um, about today's training because it went so good. But I don't want to. I'm not really sure exactly why it was so good. Now, I did change two variables in today's training um, that was very, very different than how I've approached other training. Number one, normally when I come in on a heavy leg day, I normally come in with a pre-workout that's between 200 and 300 milligrams of caffeine. Now, today, I did a different mix and then added it up to 400 milligrams, which is the maximum amount of caffeine intake that you can take safely, reliably, safely, and don't have to worry about some sort of like cardiac event. I once took 450 milligrams of caffeine and I thought I was going to die. So I'm not playing around with that again. So I went up to the ceiling at 400 milligrams of caffeine in the pre workout. And the second variable that I changed is I brought two ready to drink protein drinks, both with 30 grams of protein. I took the first one in between. I took the first one in between the leg day portion and the chest day portion. So I got way, way better performance today than I was expecting. And I'm not really sure if it was the fact that I added more stimulant to the mix or if I got an extra jolt from the 30 grams of protein that I had intra workout. And then I slammed another bottle right after. So now I'm sitting here at Shake Shack with you guys, and I'm gonna eat this chicken sandwich and drink this shake and this lemonade, and it's gonna be tons of sugar. It's gonna be tons of calories. Do you want thing two to warm up food still? It's 8:13 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time right now. I'd probably say after I eat this, I might mill around, I might walk around a little bit, then get in the car, come home. So I'd probably say somewhere, an hour and a half from now, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, I'll probably um, eat my last meal of the day at that point, or probably that, and like maybe my customary post workout recovery shake. So a lot of liquid protein today, but I was in the gym for 5 hours today. So, I had a very positive disposition today. I think that helped. Um, it's hard for me to believe that the extra caffeine didn't help. So yeah, I'm um I'm pretty happy where my training is. I have been skipping more days, so I think with more days to have recovered, I think that might be improving my performance in the gym. Um, but I feel really good about what I'm doing right now. So depending on how I feel when I wake up tomorrow, I might do the back training that I was supposed to do today. Yes, I skipped my vertical pull day for an incline chest day. I was just feeling it today. Um, you know, I'm going to you know, I'm gonna just see how I feel. And I'll probably hit that vertical pull tomorrow. I feel so good right now, but who knows? I might wake up tomorrow feel like a zombie. Yep. I didn't want to spend the money today on um on Shake Shack, but I had to celebrate having such a wonderful day. They got a good parking spot. I was able to put my bag in the car. Is this the cleanest way to recover? No, but my body will use this to, it will use the macronutrients and some of the micronutrients that are found in the food. It doesn't need to be the best quality all the time. So, burnt over 2,000 calories today. And I feel really good. You know, it's really crazy. I'm still going to end up in a caloric deficit, a minor one. But I'm still going to end up in a little bit of a caloric deficit after this. Notice that they didn't give any napkins. So I'm going to probably hunt for napkins when I'm done. So, you know, I, I very rarely have a happy family stuff to talk about ever. But it was really nice. My sister, she popped up on us during the Filthy Casual MMA watch party. And it was really nice to hang out with my sister a little bit. And then my mother called me today, and we had a positive, lucid conversation. My mother started exercising a little bit. She has like a little treadmill thingy. She has a little treadmill thingy. She says she's been using it. It sounded clear. It sounded like she can remember a thing or two. You know, asked her a couple of viewpoint questions she was able to actively participate in. It was cool. I think that might have had something to do with how positive I felt going into today's training. I get to the gym. I've been watching ER while I train. I know that sounds very strange, but I really enjoy watching episodic television while I train. Um, I was enjoying that. The Mets played in Colorado today, and unfortunately, they didn't have it on the SNY app, so I had to use the WPIX 11 website, which is total trash for streaming. But I got to see most of the plays as they were happening. And the Mets put a fucking thumping on the Rockies like they should have been doing this entire time. I mean, you want to talk about a struggle sweep? It was nice to see Juan Soto go 5 for 5 and getting on base. It was nice to see Alonso doing the same power wise. I told one of my friends, I think McNeil hit 2 home runs today. I'm like, we need to trade that motherfucker right now while you have the most trade value. But then you think about it and you're like, well, they were in Colorado. You expect some mammoth shots to be hit. So, I like what the Mets offense did today. Don't like what Paul Blackburn did today at all. Well, I'm going to cut him a little bit of slack because he was pitching in the rarefied air. And I'm pretty sure his breaking ball wasn't working as uh, as he intended because of the rarefied air. Almost done with my Carolina barbecue sandwich. And then I'm going to drink the milkshake. And then I'm going to drink the juice and then have a slow stroll. A little bit of post training cardio, post training refeeding. Post training, post dirty refeeding. Um, Cardio. Gonna walk around the area a little bit before I go back to the car. The sun is setting here in New York City. It's amazing how many people crowd into the Times Square area. Very strange. I mean, I'm here because my gym is here, and a tasty, source of protein is like right around the corner from the gym. I see so many people. I've been hearing a lot about how New York City is suffering financially because many international tourists are just not coming to the United States at all. And a lot of those people like to come to Times Square. And it's like, why? Why do you want to come to Times Square? But I guess that's kind of how a lot of tourist places in Europe and other places around the world feel. The people that live there and are native to the area, they're bored with the same environments. The people on the outsides, this is like new. This is a new experience. They hear about the legendary New York City. I'm hearing a lot about how a lot of tourist towns in in Europe, they don't want the tourists there anymore. And it's like you guys get so much of what good quality of life you have, you get it from the tourist dollar. The money that they infuse into the economy. But people still just don't like having tourists in their towns. I don't know what they're going to do here in New York City with a lesser amount of tourists. But we're living in very xenophobic times, and there are unintended consequences to you know, encouraging people to not visit your country or your city or your state. So I'm just a bystander, figuring out, just kind of watching people and the habits, how easily they're swayed to and fro by prominent figures, be it celebrities or politicians. People are really emotionally um, invested in celebrities and politicians, and which celebrities and super rich businessmen are on speaking terms with this or that celebrity or businessman or politician. People just so emotionally swayed by these things, and it changes their behavior, it changes their patterns, it changes the way they spend money or don't spend money, and it's just very interesting to watch. I'm still kind of in awe of, like, certain musicians and athletes and stuff, but I don't worship them. They're just human beings like the rest of us. And to see people worshiping the super rich or politicians or other prominent people in society, I just have to shake my head. Like, you're so emotionally invested in people that don't know who you are and don't care about you whatsoever, but they have a vested interest in swaying your decision making because it enriches them or it empowers them. But there's too many of us in the world for prominent people to care, to know about, or care about any one of us. Even if they do have, like, altruistic intentions, there's no way that they can really. And everybody, I try to tell people that every organism on planet Earth is driven by incentive. What's in it for me? Protozoa are like that. Um, Fungi are like that. Plants are like that. Non-human animals are like that. People normally care about their own interests above all. Sometimes very short-sighted with their interests to the point where they damage their own long-term interests. No, no, it's very interesting to see. But I've decided that I'm not going to become emotionally swayed by any of it. I'm just going to bench press a lot of weight a lot of times until my chest becomes huge. I'm going to squat a lot until my glutes, quads, and hamstrings um, force me to buy thicker pants and shorts. But that's really all I can control. I can control how hard I work. I can control how I impact other people's lives around me. It's really all I can do. I can't really. I don't have any control over which politician is doing, the next thing. I love training and I love titties. That's what I know. I don't know how much time civilization has left or how much time I have left, but I'm going to try to enjoy my life as much as I possibly can. And if something changes, something happens that affects me and my ability to do that, then I'll just, deal with it from there. But until that time, I'm going to show up to the gym 5 to 7 times a week. Before it was 7 to 10, where I would not take a day off for like 2 weeks at a time. These days, I'm letting my body recover a little bit before I go and destroy it again. But that's really all I can do is pay attention to my training, my diet, my sleeping, my clients, and my family and my relatives. Not necessarily in that order, although relatives are last. So, I'm happy with where I'm at. I have to open this straw because I am done with my chicken sandwich. Some liquid calories, liquid fat, liquid protein in this strawberry milkshake. This is, and then when I'm done with that, that will be next. Huh? How about that? All right. So this is what's next. Strawberry milkshake is its own type of joy. Very sugary, very fatty, very proteiny. And then I'll probably eat dinner 2.5 hours from now, 2.5, 3 hours from now. Probably have a protein shake that will also have ice cream in it. I talk to my clients a lot about how you can enjoy your life through foods you enjoy and still use some of your favorite foods, even junk food sometimes, to assist you with your training goals. I'm not a person that really eats a lot of candy anymore, but I do like gummy candy. When I go into like a really crazy workout where I'm running myself into the ground and my blood sugar gets really low, I have a bag of gummy candy in my training bag that I enjoy when I start to get lightheaded, you know? So sometimes you can use candy in a really healthy way. Oh no, strawberry milkshakes from Shake Shack, liquid protein source, liquid sugar source to very quickly restore glycogen. So more tips and tricks. Okay. Oh, yeah, I saw a post on social media where women were pretending that they in the comment section they were pretending that they're not attracted to men who take care of their bodies and are fit, that they're pretending that they prefer men who are deconditioned and overweight and obese. And we know that not to be true because those guys get no buns. Well, one of the comments stood out to me. One of the women said that she wouldn't want any of the fit guys because she doesn't think that they like to eat tacos. So, you can't sit at the table with her if you don't like to eat tacos. It's like you're just making every excuse in the world for why you don't want to get fit. And you think that like professional bodybuilders don't eat tacos? You don't think that guys with the best physiques in the world, the top, 0.01%, you don't think those guys eat tacos? They absolutely do. In fact, they eat more calories than your average American. Your average American eats a lot of calories. That's why you could tell that it's all cokes. Oh, I don't want guys who are attractive. And then Dwayne Johnson walks by and then all their panties melt onto the floor. So I always tell guys, don't don't fall for what you hear women say in public about what their preferences are. Always pay attention to the choices that they make. It's always different than the words that come out of their mouth. I think we were doing the filthy casual MMA watch party yesterday, and I made the point that Jennifer Lopez came out with a song that said that her love don't cost a thing. But she's never been with a guy that didn't have at least an eight-figure net worth. Again, don't listen to the words that they say, follow their actions. Beyonce Knowles was talking a lot of that single lady feminist, I don't put up with cheater stuff. And she got with a dude that's objectively well known that this dude gets buns all over the world. And he's a billionaire. And she caught him with another woman and she didn't go anywhere. But she'll make songs talking about how she won't put up with, infidelity. But in real life, Ciara, we're talking about all her single ladies too. She goes home to Russell Wilson. I had a pretty good laugh with my mom, and I asked her what her preferences was, and she said definitely a fit man. So I said, well, we're having a private conversation. Would you say that in public? And she said my sister said to her that, she works really hard to stay in shape. So why shouldn't she also get a guy that's in shape? But that sister, she's on the, spectrum, Asperger's and all of that. So she doesn't really have the capacity to BS. Like you see a lot of people in society where they try to say the politically correct thing in mixed company. It's not a bad thing to admit if you're a woman that you prefer a guy that is attractive. But I also think that a lot of these women are speaking from a place of it's like they have this ideology that they're trying to stick by, where they're working hard to either appear to not be attracted to attractive men or actively trying to make themselves not attracted to attractive men to prove a socio-political ideological point. I don't know. To me, it's interesting stuff to watch people fight with themselves. I think I'm going to walk around with my lemonade. I think I said everything I wanted to say today. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So, yep. Tomorrow I'm going to try to do my vertical pull workout that I was supposed to do today, that I was actually supposed to do yesterday, that I was actually supposed to do on Friday, and just said, nah, I don't give a fuck. But I'm going to do it tomorrow. Tuesday, I'll try to do some shoulders. Wednesday is another pain for leg day. Hopefully, this time I won't forget my weight belt this time. But I do think that I will only limit it to legs on Wednesday. I don't think I'm going to go crazy on Wednesday doing lower and upper. But I felt really good today. I got it done. I had a couple of PRs. Always pushing the envelope. I want you guys to always push the envelope in the gym or with your business ideas. If you want to make it big on YouTube and only one person is watching, still push it. Still push it. Well, we're at the end of this tape. That means we're at the end of the stream. Perhaps I might do one or two more of these genius eats a meal. But I know I'll be back on Wednesday. But for now, I'm going to go take a leisurely stroll through Midtown, or go back to the car and take my sore, tired ass home. In the comment section, I don't know, give me your opinions on all the bullshit that I was waxing poetic about today. But yeah, I'm going to get up out of here. Thank you so much for continuing to support what I do here. That sandwich is really fucking good. Now I'm going to go walk some of this off. I'll see you later. Peace.